Hare Ganga Mahadev Sri Shankara Parvati Pati Mahadev Sri Shankara.
Namaste, it's Sahara Rose, and welcome back to the Highest Self podcast, a place where we discuss what makes you your soul's highest evolvement. So, I have a question for you. How do you want to feel? I know it sounds like a really simple question, right? Like, I want to feel good. I want to feel happy, right? But how do you really want to feel? And if we can feel into that question, then we're going to get clarity on everything in our life. So the person who really has helped ingrain that belief in me is Danielle Laporte. If you are not familiar with this incredible powerhouse of a woman, she is the author of The Desire Map, and she shares this incredible terminology called your core desired feelings, which helps you tap into how you really want to feel and actually architect your entire life around that. So in this episode, I had the opportunity to sit down with her and talk to her about how we can actually make this work in our everyday lives. I talk about what my core desired feelings are, what to do when you're not sure, what to do if they're changing, and how we can actually make this work when we have obligations and busy schedules and responsibilities. How can we keep tapping back into those feelings? And for me, I actually saw Danielle speak years ago. I read her other book, White Hot Truth, which is a phenomenal one, especially if you're in the spiritual community, but a little like burnt out from the spiritual community, because she talks about how a lot of times we bypass things. We bypass real emotions. We bypass things that come up to be conscious. And she really hits the nail on the head in that book. And again, it relates back to what your core desired feelings are, because I think some people, when we really start the spiritual path, we're like, okay, these are the things spiritual people are supposed to do. They're supposed to be meditative and calm and only wear white and quiet and stare into each other's eyes for 7 minutes and change their name to Rainbow. And like, these are the things spiritual people are. Therefore, I must be like that in order to be spiritual. And it's not the case, because first of all, everyone is spiritual. No one is not spiritual, because we all have spirits. That's why we're here. But to be a higher consciousness level person, I don't even like to say that it's higher, but a more aware person than you previously were, because the only comparison is to yourself, is to just tap deeper into your truth. So that's when seeing, well, how do I really want to feel? What makes me feel in my power? And sometimes in your life that's going to change. So in this episode, Danielle talks about how we have some core desired feelings that are lifelong feelings for us, and some that change with the season. So for me at this moment right now, I'm in between homes. I don't have a place to stay. All my stuff's in storage. I'm almost in this in-between period of my life. I just got married. I have a book to write. Like, it's like, whoo, it's a lot. So my core desired feeling of what I want to feel right now is grounded. It's embodied. It's at peace. Whereas when I'm at home and I have, the basic stability, I have my house, I have my routine, then I crave more freedom, more excitement, more uncertainty, because I'm craving the opposite of what I have. So those are the kind of desires that always change. But we also have the words that always stay with us. So for me, one of them is expansive. And expansive is, I always want to feel that way, because expansive to me feels like stretching out. It feels like reaching. It feels like stretching, like you were just on an airplane for too long. It feels like becoming something greater than you are. And in this episode, Danielle's like, well, what's the opposite feeling of that? And to me, it's contracted. It's stuck. It's the feeling that you've been on an airplane for too long. And that's the opposite. So using that as my roadmap now has been really helpful of, okay, is this situation making me feel more stuck, or is it making me feel more expansive? And you see, the thing is, sometimes the things that make you feel more expansive can be scary. They can trigger your other feelings of you, but you're moving towards expansion, because expansion comes through uncertainty. Right now, I'm for sure 100% expanding, but it's kind of uncomfortable because I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm expanding. So I love working with these feelings, really naming what that feeling is that you want, because then you can always check in with yourself. Am I feeling Shakti? Am I feeling at peace? Am I feeling creative? Am I feeling at one? Whatever it is that you want to feel. And there are infinite words out there too, and you can make up your own too. But it just allows you to anchor back into your truth. So Danielle is an incredible author, speaker, a woman I dearly look up to, and I am so excited to have her here on the Highest Self podcast to share her wisdom with you. Without further ado, let's welcome Danielle Laporte. And before we get started, check out these brands that make Highest Self podcast possible. This episode is brought to you by Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a modernized Ayurvedic supplement company that takes certain issues that we have, such as mood, joints, immunity, digestion, and creates these custom little packets exactly for us, infusing ancient Ayurvedic herbs with modern vitamins and minerals. I take the mood formula daily. It is great if you work a stressful job, had adrenal fatigue, ever suffer from anxiety or even depression. And it really heals you from a fundamental and holistic level. So if you want to try it out, head over to Youveda, YOUVEDA.com. Use the code Sahara and you'll receive 35% off your first order. And they now ship to almost every country globally. So check it out if you live internationally. They may be shipping to your country too. And they just added India, guys. Okay, real talk, the product I'm about to tell you about is literally the best thing I've ever put into my mouth, and that is saying a lot. And this is Organifi's Gold. So essentially it is the hot chocolate of your dreams with none of the sugar and all of the turmeric and reishi with a touch of ginger as well. It is delicious on its own, just with water. When I was on my Panchakarma and I couldn't have any sugar or chocolate, anything like that, I brought my Organifi Gold with me. Panchakarma approved, and all I needed was hot water, and it was the perfect, just sweet, soothing, desserty taste that I so deeply crave after meals. And it makes me feel so calm, so restorative. It is my optimal nighttime tonic. And literally, I've gotten all my friends on it, and I'm pinching myself that they are my podcast sponsors, because even if they weren't, I would still be telling everyone about it. So head over to Organifi.com and use coupon code Sahara for 20% off. That is Organifi, ORGANIFI.com. Use coupon code Sahara for 20% off your gold. Welcome, Danielle, to the Highest Self podcast. It's so great to have you here.
Hi, everybody.
So the first question I would love to ask you is, what makes you your highest self?
Yeah, I feel my highest self, my wholest self, my most lit up self when I'm in my heart. And for me, that's all about, I really have come to know and believe that my genius is in my heart. And that's intuition, that's inclusivity, that's where the feminine loves to hang out. Yeah, and I have my ways of getting there, but it's all heart for me now.
So beautiful. And you remind me so much. Do you know about the Ayurvedic doshas?
Oh, yeah. I'm a pitta kapha.
Yeah, I could feel the kapha energy in your writing, and that's so heart, and it's so feeling.
What makes you say, oh, it's the emotion in it?
It's the emotion. So kapha is the earth, and it just has this ability to just hold space for emotions, for chaos, for whatever it is. And so much of your messaging is just about, being that witness and feeling it all and not judging yourself for it. So, and just the way that you speak, your voice is like musical when you just speak. And that's such a kapha thing. And your mannerisms, it's so soft and loving. And I find a lot of spiritual teachers have that kapha energy because it's so grounded. So your answer is like, exactly illustrating the kapha dosha.
I'm on.
I love it. Well, you've written so many incredible books, including The Desire Map, which we'll talk about, and many listeners have practiced and is a staple of their intention setting, morning routines, New Year's, all of it. So I'd love to know a little bit about your writing process. What does that look like for you?
Well, I don't write every day. I don't journal. I don't journal for myself. Any writing that I do, like in a notebook, are usually notes from therapy sessions. And I feel like I just have to capture those and like revisit them, or business ideas. In terms of like the really practical stuff, I voice to text notes in the notes function on my iPhone. And a lot of my stuff, like that's the seed of a lot of things. And then I park things in Evernote and I build on them and build on them. And then I usually write in concentrated blocks. So like I haven't been writing for a while, fresh stuff for my website. But this week I just spent 2 days. I finished 4 posts. I outlined about 6 and I just go in like no distractions, no meetings, one phone call can blow the whole day. And I'm a real chunker when it comes to time. And then when it comes to books, I just disappear. So yeah, I become really bad at remembering birthdays and I order in a lot. And I basically just I leave the house for fresh air and yoga and I just come home and I just plow. I'm a plower. And then I'll go weeks, like many weeks without writing anything, with the exception of I love writing on Instagram. That sort of like those nuggets, that bite-sized stuff really works for me.
Totally. And yeah, I feel the same way when you're in that flow, that process, whether it's in a couple hours or weeks or months, it's so much easier to just stay there than change your energy to that external networking, going out, making things happen in the world energy, which just requires such a different part of your brain and your soul.
Yeah. And for anybody who's creative and writing stuff, I'm always very clear on my what and my why. And that helps me. Like, I'm so about word economy. I do not want to waste your time. I do not want to put in any filler. I mean, my stuff tends to be like more poetic and feminine and nuanced, but I just want to get my fucking point across. And when I'm really clear, sometimes I'll sit down and write and another nugget, another teaching. I don't think of myself as a teacher, but another teaching will come up and I just set it aside. That's a second post. I just really, for me with posts, it's just make one point at a time. And I've also learned that because I'm so sensitive to quality and not wanting to waste people's time, I don't write really long posts, but sometimes I give myself permission to just go much deeper and to get in more layers. And just know it's what I need to say. It's how I need to express myself. Hopefully it's helpful. And then how we treat those longer version posts. We have a different approach for those on social media. I turn them into 3-part series. So
I love that. And I think that speaks so much because it's so hard for us to even in social media comprehend one message, let alone if it captions and this and that and head to my link in bio and go to my blog and this and so many different things. And people just need it simple and laid out and just, as you said, to hit their heart. So I'd love to know, does it kind of come through you in these nuggets or do you edit it to get there?
I don't edit heavily. It comes through in the nuggets. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. And are you involved in your editing process or are you the kind that's just you do the editing, I just don't want to see it?
No, everything I deliver to my team to be posted is complete and finished. It's only checked for typos. That's it. There's anything philosophical that comes out, I've written and blessed 100%. There isn't one sentence that comes out in all the stuff we do, promotional, marketing, social, what it says on a button on a website to click. I approve, I either write or I approve everything. Because it's all I have. I mean, this is my voice. This is my stand. This is my truth. This is it. It's got to be me.
Absolutely. Yes. And yeah, I think people often expect that, writers at a certain point, they must be ghostwritten or something. And it's well, if you're not actually doing your own writing, then what are you doing? So I love that you're really honoring that and taking a stand that we should all be involved in using our own voice in our messaging.
Well, but some people speak different languages. So my language is words, the written word. Some people, their flow and their genius is more verbal. And if they can just be on camera, be on audio, be doing the podcasts, and then have all that stuff repurposed, as long as it's their original sentiment, I think that's totally cool. Yeah. And also there's a cost to this, right? There's a cost to being so controlling. But I'm happy to pay that price. So, yeah.
Definitely. And it's so worth it. So I'd love to know, when you're going into a book writing process, do you do any rituals or specific practices? Is it first thing in the morning? What does that look like
Yeah.
for you?
Well, I have a regular practice that I do to be alive, to have clear intentions, and everything has to come out of that clarity. So, in my mornings, there's a Kriya that I do, there's a meditation, there's a prayer practice. I've created my own practice called heart centering. And I do one of those things or all of those things at least 5 days, if not 7 days a week. I eat clean and I do yoga. Those are the basics. Those are primal. There's a reason they've been around for 2,000 years and everybody's talking about them. So if you want to be a better writer, if you want to be more lit up, if you want to be of service, you need to have those anchor practices. They're almost non-negotiable. What's shifted for me over the years is a more loving, fluid, self-compassionate approach to those practices. So I'm no longer doing them to be good, to get points from some cosmic committee. I'm doing them because I feel closer to life, because they work. When I get into actual pedal to the metal mode, I just 2 weeks ago, I was in LA shooting a big video program. And, those are mornings where you're up at 7 a.m. and the crew is there and there's all sorts of stuff going on. And I had to do something every morning, something just to anchor me in. So it's my breath work. If I didn't have time to, sometimes you're just you're tired, you're cold, you ate something shitty the night before. Then it would just be a prayer, or I just really read 2 paragraphs of the Course in Miracles. I always, if I'm working with a team or if I'm sitting down by myself to write, I always set an intention before we go. And you might, if you're doing something over a period of time, you might just only have that block of time to set that intention at the beginning of the project. Like with the commune team that I've been working with, one commune, we all said a prayer before we went into the studio. And we set the intention to be of service, to be clear conduits, and to have a good time. I just want to have, at the end of it, I'm in integrity. I've done my work. I'm here for love. Let's just have a good fucking time while we do this now, right? So, yeah, that's what it looks like.
Oh, totally agree with that. That's why we are here. So that's a perfect segue into manifestation. I'd love to know more about your manifestation techniques. And recently you wrote a post about the common problems with manifestation techniques. So can you explore that for a little bit?
Well, I feel like it's still something that I struggle with, because there's still lots that I want in my life that I haven't manifested yet. And when I get into that place, which is really this self-critical place and this place of doubt, then I have to just go into the medicine of gratitude. It's just hold on a second. There's lots of stuff that you have manifested. There's lots of stuff that, there's a meme going around. It's notice all the things that you prayed for now that came true. So it's something like that. It's much more succinct. So it's hey, there's things that I prayed for and I visualized and I felt the sensations and I used the affirmations, and I have them now. So there's just other things I just have to continue doing that practice with. How I feel about manifestation now is, what I used to talk about was that I really thought that you needed to feel worthy of what you were asking for in order to manifest it. I no longer believe that. I don't believe it for a couple of reasons. I've come to a new conclusion. One, I think there are plenty of people out there who are, have serious amounts of self-loathing and lack of self-love, and they are excellent manifestors because they're focused and they're visualizing and they're believing and they're matching that belief and that intention with action. They're working for it. They're pulling it off. They know the techniques, right? I also think that life, God is merciful, that life is really designed to grant our wishes. to fulfill us if we show up and meet it halfway. So those are new layers. My actual manifestation practices now have everything to do with visualizing. That visualizing process has to be sensual. So you've got to see it, you got to smell it. You have to know like what's happening when you're there, what's happening with the earth elements, like is the sun shining on your face, like really sensually engaged. And you have to feel it in your heart. You need to feel the feelings that you want to feel when you get where it is that you want to go. And I think really that's the difference. And I mean, that's really what sort of the climax of desire mapping. And then you have to practice it, has to be steady. It's like that vision is something you have to water on a regular basis. I mean, a really esoteric terms, you'd be sitting with that vision 21 minutes at least a day until it happens. You know, even any like a Christian mystical priest will tell you, you keep praying until the prayer is answered. Like you just, you keep, it's not like a vitamin B shot. You stay steady with it. And don't change the vision. I think changing the vision is sort of like messing with your wellness plan. Like just stick to these supplements and let them work. Just feed this vision and let it work. If you're tweaking it all along, you change the person and you change the amount of money you want and you change the car you're bringing in. No, that's why like take some time, get clear on how you want to feel. What's the vision that is the expression of that feeling? What I call your core desired feeling. Keep it really simple. Keep it simple. I just come up with vignettes of the vision, right? Like if your desire is to win a race, let's say like a physical, an athletic context, you don't envision all the work it takes to get there and all your training. You envision yourself crossing the finish line. That's it. It's a really simple vignette with all sorts of sensual layers. Feed it every day. See what happens.
I love that. So beautiful. And yeah, I think the biggest problem that I and many people listening experience is when you're manifesting something, you're changing it because you're like, oh, well, I don't really know if that's what I want and this and that. So how specific are your manifestations? Are you like, okay, I'm looking for this house on this street, like down to the point, or do you just work more with universe, give me what you think is best? I'm fully open to receiving that.
I don't feel inclined to do the super specific stuff. I feel like I just always feel like I'm going to mess it up somehow. Like I don't know. I just feel like I'm setting myself up for disappointment and that I want to be open to how things show up. So that's why more of my emphasis is on the feelings. Really, for me, it really is about the core desired feelings. It's like, I want to feel graceful. I want to feel turned on. I want to feel this. Okay. And what's the one, give me one. Well, it's not a give me. I'm going to create one visual scenario that encapsulates all of that, whether it's like meet my person or how much I want to earn that year or my wellness plan, how I want to feel in my body. Just really simple. Yeah. And then, the person is who shows up, who matches that feeling. And it's so much more fluid. And I'm so much more open to life having an even better plan, better than I imagined. But I get to feel the way I want to feel. Yeah. So no, I don't envision the house on the street because, I did try that. It's tried and failed for me. And I just like so much disappointment. It's still the same in business, like we used to set metric. We want to sell this many by this date, make that money, and this be the profit margin. And there just would always be disappointment for me. There's so many goals I didn't hit. And even when I like super exceeded those goals, I would think I should have asked for more. Maybe I could have made even more. I wasn't thinking big enough. Like it just, all that specificity I felt really was just messing me up. So yeah. And one of my core desired feelings right now is in the flow. I think that for me, that specificity with desire was taking me out of the flow. And I wasn't there were so many layers in that. Like, I wasn't trusting God. I wasn't trusting what life wanted to give me. I think underneath it all, I wasn't really feeling worthy of my desires or things being easy. The less I plan, the better things are. Yeah.
So good. And yeah, I think so many different people manifest in different ways. And I know in human design, oftentimes your design can inform how you best manifest. And some people are naturally more specific manifestors, and some are more just the emotion around it. So I'd love to know, have you dove into human design at all?
No, I keep hearing about it. I feel like it's on my list of things to research.
Yeah, I'm curious what your human design is, because it may tell you that this is exactly how you were meant to manifest.
Well, I can tell you this is how I was meant to manifest. So
Yeah,
that works for me.
exactly.
Yeah,
You're like, I
it's
don't
working.
need to affirm it. And exactly. And that's a lot what you talked about in your book, White Hot Truth, of just owning it yourself and not needing a psychic or a healer or someone else to tell you what is so moving through your veins at this moment, but we're oblivious to it until we, pay money and someone else says it for us. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey of just reclaiming your power and your spiritual detox?
A lot of psychics, a lot of astrologers, a lot of energy workers, a lot of workshops, a lot of gurus, a lot of sitting, and finally came to the conclusion. And so happy I did all those things, like zero regrets, all initiations, all great research. Finally realized, wow, this is just another performance mechanism. I'm just trying to be good. And so much of this self-help, not all of it, but a lot of it was coming from a place of self-criticism and just trying to be better all the time. And it is fucking exhausting. And I went on, well, yeah, you mentioned the word detox. I just decided, it was gradual, but there were some lines in the sand where I was like, okay, I am not going to refer to any psychics, at least not right now. No astrology readings. I'm really okay. Don't need a shaman right now. I'm all right. I might even knock off tarot and any kind of like divination oracle thing. And I still have, I have an advisor. I have like a spiritual advisor, energy worker, and there's people I call on. But I'm pretty much going it right now without any outside input. So it's been, I feel like an alcoholic sometimes saying, it's been 2 years since I've been into a bar. It's been 2 years since I've had any kind of intuitive external input. Yeah. And I'm thriving. I'm still good. My life did not fall apart. I've signed lots of contracts in the last 2 years and they're all working out. I'm making some good decisions. Yeah. And I just feel more peaceful, just not to mention I've saved a ton of money, but yeah, just peace. I got more time on my calendar without all the readings.
I think it's really important to talk about that because, most people are on the spectrum of never having done any of that stuff at all. But there is a subgroup of people that can become almost dependent on it. And sometimes we think we're doing such a good job that makes us more advanced. Like, what an incredible thing to be addicted to, right? Spiritual development, but
Right.
Everything can have its shadow side.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes that lack of self-referencing shows up in, we just care way too much what everybody around us thinks. So maybe, you're not turned into a psychic, but you won't bust a move without input from your mom or your girlfriends. And like, input is one thing. And I think so many times it's really is our friends who know what's best for us if we would only really listen to them, have deeper levels of intimacy with our friends. But end of the day, your call. And you will keep getting initiated into this. There's no escape from it. Like, you're going to have to disappoint somebody and you're going to make decisions that you maybe feel guilty for because you're hurting other people. You are going to let other people down on the way to your fullness. And that's the way it goes.
So true. And just to know that those people can only respond from their own human point of reference. And I see so many times, especially, women think it's part of friendship to ask other people's opinion about every decision that they make. And sometimes that friend may feel left out that you didn't consult with them about it, but it's just creating this like friendship codependency and not serving neither party.
Yep. You got it.
Yes. We take a quick break from this episode so I can share with you an amazing opportunity. Are you interested in having a career focused on health and wellness? Well, if so, then the universe is calling you to become a holistic health coach. I am offering this incredible deal, a discount of $1,500 off my alma mater, Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which is the world's largest nutrition school with guest teachers such as Deepak Chopra, Chris Carr, Dr. Hyman, and Dr. Andrew Whale, and so many others. It is split between 6 months of health coaching programs teaching you hundreds of nutritional theories, including Ayurveda, as well as 6 months of business coaching. And as an additional bonus, I am offering a webinar where I will teach you how to use social media to create a thriving career as a health coach. On top of that, I have created a private Facebook community just for the Highest Self podcast listeners who are becoming health coaches to connect with each other, meet up with each other, and support one another on this journey. So if you're interested, send an email over to Sahara, Sahara, at eatfeelfresh.com with subject IIN. Again, Sahara at eatfeelfresh.com with subject IIN. And I will personally send you back the email that will allow you to get a $1,500 off discount, as well as my business coaching webinar and the private Facebook group. I'm so excited for you to begin your journey as a health coach. I'd love to introduce you to the tea brand I've been loving recently, Vadam Teas. The tea starts in the mountains of the Himalayas and within hours of harvest are packed at their tea facility and shipped all around the world. I'm personally indulging in their Master Tea Assorted pack, which contains 15 loose leaf blends, black, oolong, green, and white. They pack their teas in single-serve premium pyramid tea bags so you can have the convenience of loose leaf tea anywhere. Not just this, but they've managed to eliminate all middlemen from the sourcing process, thereby retaining all earnings in the source region for the farmers. These teas are fair trade, organic, and pesticide-free, and they benefit the farmers directly, which I deeply care about. Additionally, every time you pick up a pack of Vadam teas, a part of the revenue goes towards educating the tea growers' children, which makes it all even more worthwhile. Oprah just listed as one of her top favorite things, so I take Oprah's word for it. So if you want to try this out, head over to vadamteas.com, VAHDAM teas.com, and use coupon code Sahara for 20% off. Again, head over to vadamteas.com and use coupon code Sahara for 20% off. So one incredible tool that you've created and made available for so many people is the desire map, and having people check in with their core desired feelings. And you have this incredible new online course about it. So for people who are not familiar with the desire map at all, can you share a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, I love it. You know, it's been out for 5-6 years now, and I feel like I've finally just got what it is. And part of that is because like over 200,000 people now have been through the desire map process, and we get it like, wow, it works. The idea is that we're turning our ambition inside out. So most of us come up with goals and bucket lists and to-dos, and it's very externally driven. This is what I want, but we are not really making the connection to why we want it. We just assume it's going to feel good when we get it, if we get it. We hope we're going to feel good if and when we get it. The theory is that everything you're doing because you want to feel a certain way. The stuff you eat, the clothes you buy, the people you hang out with, the significant other you choose, the job, all of it is because you're going for a feeling. So why don't you get clear? Why don't you get conscious about what I call your core desired feelings? And then everything is in service to that. And so, you know, really, really what it's about is about returning to your heart, which is where all feeling resides, and then engaging your self-agency. Like, I can die happy if I can get a few more people, ideally a few million people, to just realize you get to choose how you feel and move out of, I don't love this phrase, but it does kind of say it, move out of victim mentality into total self-agency. You have the power, no matter what's going on, the breakup, the job, the weight, whatever. You can choose gratitude. You can choose resiliency. You can find the grace in the shit. You do that on a daily basis, you create more opportunities to feel that way. So, I mean, we were talking about manifestation earlier. Manifestation, the seed of it happens in the heart, and it's the mind that executes it. I think, everybody who's listening to this is probably down with the idea that your thoughts are going to have a huge contribution to creating your reality. Everybody knows about thinking positive. I have a whole theory on positive thinking, but and how it can actually lead us astray. However,
let us know that after.
Okay. Choose the thoughts that are going to get you back to feeling the way you want to feel. That's what Desire Map is about. And yeah, you come up with your 5 core desired feelings. More than that, I think it's too much for the brain to hold. And you make choices every day. Like, right now, the core desired feelings I'm working with are sacred feminine, embracing is another one, in the flow, and a couple others. And so when I plan my week, I have a whole day planning system that's built around this. When I plan my week, the question is, what am I going to do to feel this way? And my daily mantra are those words. I bring those words into my heart. I meditate on those words. I ask those core desired feelings if they have a message for me that day, if there's something I should do that day, if there's a symbol that day. That's meditation. That's a manifestation practice. Yeah.
That is so beautiful. And I love how much you work with the words in your meditation and other ways too. And I think a lot of us, sometimes we come up with, I want to, be more free, but we're not actually taking action on how to implement that. So what does that look like, the action steps you take to have more of those desired feelings in your life?
Well, sometimes it just stays on the mental realm, right? It's like, okay, one layer to desire mapping is gratitude. Gratitude's medicine. There's a reason why everybody in the personal development space is on about it. Works. It changes your brain chemistry. This is scientifically proven. Thoughts of appreciation change how you think. You change how you think, you make different choices. So gratitude is a daily practice. Self-affirmation and encouragement is also part of the practice. So it's like you're using your own capacity to encourage yourself. You choose beliefs that make you feel better. Anything you want. It's like, I'm loved. I'm a child of God. My friends have got me. I've gotten through stuff before. The sun rose yesterday. It's going to rise tomorrow. Like whatever it is that just calms your nervous system. Another layer of it is I'm a big fan of stop doing lists. And every week or every day, if you want, you get really clear on what's not working. And this is one of the, I think the shortcomings of the new age sometimes is we don't face and confront the things that are so-called negative. We spiritually bypass them. We try and, this is my point about where positive thinking leads us astray. You have to feel it to heal it. You got to get real about what's causing you pain and suffering. And first of all, that pain and suffering is trying to get your attention. It just needs to be acknowledged, not ignored. And when you give it attention, then you can make choices that heal it. So yeah, we work a lot with breath too. So, breathing cleanses the mind. It brings you back into your body and it brings you back into your heart. So specifically, it's about heart-centered breathing. It's not fill your belly and let it fill, you focus on your heart and you bring that prana, you bring that life force back to your heart center. Physically, your heart chakra, your fourth chakra, is the center of your whole physical being. You've got a number of energy centers that are above your head. Your heart is it's the lever of everything. Focus there. That's where the genius is.
So beautiful. And it's absolutely true that all of us, if we can just connect to our hearts, it's going to give us that subtlety. And how often are you changing your core desired feelings?
Well, it varies. I desire map twice a year. I desire map in the spring for my birthday, and I desire map in September because I want to get a head start on the new year. And I have some core desired feelings that stay with me all the time. Like I've had them for a couple years. But, I think if you're changing them more than every 6 months, you're not really giving them a chance to, bake into your system and really have an effect on your psyche. So yeah, for me, I revisit them every 6 months.
I love them. And I absolutely love the book. So mine are expansive. And I feel like that's always kind of been mine. Just the feeling of like a back bend and your heart being open or stretching your arms out. Like the opposite of the feeling of being in an airplane for too long. That, just that's what I want.
That's a great application of it, because I got to tell that story, because it's so great when you get clear on a core desired feeling to kind of know, like, just have a little nugget visual of what it is. What's the expression of it? So like for you, it's the back bend, the heart opener. And what's the opposite? Like you just like do not want to go there, which is like, dirty pent up feeling of being on a plane for too long. Yeah, that's great. I love it. Expansive. Okay. What else have we got?
Shakti.
Yeah. Shakti.
So love the feminine, but the Shakti has really been coming through because I find it a little bit like that juicy feminine, that belly dance, that kind of vibe, flow, just to, let the creativity come as it does and never force it. And fun was never one of mine before, but I've made it one for 2019 because I've always expected fun is just, something that happens along the way, not something you plan for. But now I'm planning for fun. Like I am looking actively for fun concerts, ecstatic dances, just bringing friends together to laugh, because I realize if, as adults, it's so hard to fit that into our schedules if we don't, try to create the container for it.
Those are great. I mean, they're all, anybody's core desired feelings are great, but yeah, that's inspiring.
Yeah. Do you find that because I feel like mine are kind of connected. Do you find that they're sort of like on that one wavelength often?
Well, it's more that I see patterns. Like, I think I just wrote about this I talk about it in the video program, is that after all this time, I think there's really about 6 or 7 types of core desired feelings. Like there's always something, well, for a lot of people, not everybody, that has to do with courage or bravery or expansion. There's that. There's usually something that has to do with femininity, sexuality, softness, Shakti, There's often something to do with light. I want to feel lighter. I want to feel luminous. I want to feel illuminated. I want to feel inspired. And then I think there's another cluster of something around inspiration and creativity and self-expression. And then I think there's something around beauty and elegance and yeah.
I love it. And do you find that most women put something related to femininity on theirs?
No, but I think, this is just like a bigger paradigm, right? I think it's all feminine. So like if you want to be in the flow, that is a principle of the divine feminine energy, right? That is life force. That is something that's generative. Just the feminine is always flowing. We all know it's not a gender specific thing. Yeah, I think it shows up in one way or another.
For sure. And even, the courage and the strength is another spectrum of the feminine too.
Or the masculine. It depends, right? Right. Yeah. Some of us just need that. We want direction. We want laser. We want bravery. We want structure. It's another side.
So tell us a little bit about planning your days with these core desired feelings, and what does that look like?
Well, honestly, I don't so much plan my day with it. Like I plan my week and then I kind of let it go. For me, it's like bird's eye view. It's daily meditation. So it just is seeping into my psyche and I know it influences my choices. And then it's big choices. Like, the day-to-day stuff can be, I want to be in the flow. I got to make sure I'm going to get to yoga this week. And then so practically what I do is I will schedule my yoga. Like there's a 4:00 class here, et cetera, et cetera. So there is something really practical and granular about it. But where I really experience it is in my big decisions. Like I'm about to back away from a deal because I'm really clear. This is not aligned with my core desired feelings. This relationship is not helping me feel the way I want to feel. It's not embracing. I do not feel in the flow. This has been so protracted and difficult. I'm out. Yeah.
I love that. And often, we're all faced with these opportunities that present themselves that sound really good, looks like quote unquote progress, but it's not aligned with how we want to feel. And it takes a massive amount of both courage and self awareness to make that decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you for providing tools for us to be able to access that inside of ourselves. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your upcoming online Desire Map course?
Well, I produced it with Commune. So it lives in two places. It'll live on my site, daniellelaporte.com, and one Commune, ONE, Commune. And basically what I've done is I've taken the book and the years of all the people who have done it. I built in a bunch of new practices, the heart centering practice, a lot of which I just described. And then you get this gorgeous printed workbook, because for me, things have to be sensual. Like you need a hard copy of something to write in to fully experience it. And then I wrote basically another book to go with it. So there's like 20 practices, from how to reframe negative situations into gratitude situations, a word blessing where you work with your core desired feelings. I give you a meditation to power up those feelings, like to essentially almost like create your own mantra. It's like you imbibe, you energize those feelings. I walk you through this whole kind of visualization so that when you call on them, they have some energy. It's kind of like writing your own prayer for yourself. Yeah. And lots of other beautiful things. Yeah, that's it.
That's so beautiful. I absolutely love that. And I love how you're just encouraging us to be more involved in our spiritual practices. I think a lot of us are, we hear, oh, well, this mantra worked for someone else, or this is the prayer that this community says, and we just, take it as our own. But there's something so beautiful and powerful and, personal of being able to make it catered to what you need at this moment.
That's a great noticing. Yeah, it's great to hear that. Thank you. Because I really think, this gets back to what you were saying about the point about being your own guru and then me bringing in self-agency. You really do have the power to bless your life and to energize things yourself and to bless other people. And so many of us will come to the realization, like, everything's energy. Everything really is vibration and frequency. So why don't we use it? Why don't we really, with intention, choose our thoughts, create, to generate the feelings, to be in our preferred states of being. Yeah, like when you pray, really pray. When you wish, really wish. When you tell someone, I hope you're well. When like this is one of the noticings I had for myself. We all have experiences throughout the week when someone tells us they're suffering, like, somebody love is dying, or you didn't get the gig, or whatever it is, it's the challenges of life, and we just sign off and we say, oh, sending love, sending light. And my question of accountability to everybody right now is, are you really? Because I noticed so many times with myself, it was a lot of lip service. Wait, do it. Back up your love with intention. Just take 30 seconds, take 4 minutes, and close your eyes. Bring that person into your vision and send them light from your heart. Really love on them. And then back it up. Write the note, text them the next day. Just be the loving person that you say you are. Yeah.
Such beautiful advice. And I think sometimes the reason why we do the sending love is because we are so afraid of taking that energy on. And it just creates this almost barrier of, oh, that's your problem. Good luck. But I think really just giving what you just mentioned, that practice of sending them love. I just mini did that for a second to my grandmother, and it makes you feel better too. Blessing others is blessing yourself.
That's another great point is, what you're saying about people taking it on. I think part of it is it's almost like we don't want to be infected by that pain.
Yes.
Part of it is we don't want to look at our own suffering. And you know what? You can't go wrong by being in someone's pain with them. You can't go wrong. Like, look, yes, you need to have boundaries. Yes, you need to cut some energy cords. Every day, I cut cords. I ask that all energy return to its source. You take responsibility for your stuff because I believe in your power. I'm going to take responsibility for my stuff. I believe in my power to heal. If I can't feel your suffering, I'm not going to feel my suffering. I'm not going to feel my joy. And, somebody asked me last week what I think the big problem is in the world right now in society. Is like a big question. And I think it's loneliness. I think we are all aching for connection. I think it's a big existential thing. I think we all want to get home, whether it's, to put this in the crassest way, like, some teachers of, extreme relationship will tell you, like, the masculine just wants to crawl back in the pussy and get back into the mother's womb. It's like, that's one way of putting it. I think it's kind of true. It's like, I think all beings just want to get back to God. They want to get back to love. But here we are, just like avoiding each other, avoiding our own suffering and avoiding each other. So yeah, get in there, get into the pain, send love.
So beautifully said. Well, thank you so much for sharing your incredible words, wisdom, and just resonance with all of us. We really appreciate it. And I'm so excited for so many listeners right now to begin their desire map journey. It's something I've been doing for a number of years and has changed my life. So where can listeners connect with you, find you on Instagram, find your books and your course?
Well, first of all, thanks for the great questions and for really listening. That's so cool in an interview. And I'm everywhere. Just Danielle Laporte. The center of my universe really is Instagram. And yeah, all the cool stuff, the other cool stuff's happening at daniellelaporte.com. Thanks for asking.
Well, thank you so much again and looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks.
Oh my God, for real, I was fangirling the whole episode because I love Danielle Laporte so much. She reminds me of myself, or, my highest self, in the way that she's just so real, but also channeling. I went to one of her workshops and she was just, it was a Q&A the whole time. She just showed up. She's like, what questions do you guys have? And she was just giving the answer that was coming through her. And I'm like, that's how I want to give my talks in the future. I just want to show up and see what comes through. So she's amazing. Please check out her desire map, her core desired feelings, all of the incredible work she does. Hit her up on Instagram, tell her you heard of her on this podcast, and send her so much love. If you loved this episode, I would love if you could leave me a review in the iTunes store. And as a free gift, I will share with you the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type. Simply email a screenshot of your review over to sahara@eatfeelfresh.com. Again, Sahara, Sahara, at eatfeelfresh.com. And I will send you over the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type. Thank you and namaste.